to another episode of DigiTalk Architects. We are here today with Jonathan Raude from Resourceful Talent Group. Jonathan, please go ahead and tell us about yourself, your company, what you do.
Sure. Thanks, Carolina. Like Carolina said, I'm Jonathan Raude. I'm the co-founder of Resourceful Talent Group. We are a software outsourcing and high-impact hiring talent solution company. So we specialize in senior level talent, very hard to find talent, and talent that's game-changing for companies. So companies go to us when they're looking for the type of talent that they can't find on their own, or that's taken them a really long time to find on their own. And these are some of the most crucial positions that they need in order for them to scale. We're brought in complex situations where others give up. That's how we like to get going. And I have a great team behind me, along with the partner, Alex Zubaidov. We've been partners now for 4 years. And we got into this space because I started my career at IBM. I was there for the first 4 years of my professional career. I had a background in technology and enterprise software, working with leading brands such as American Express, Fiserv, Goldman Sachs, Under Armour, and Alex had a software development business called Ecom Solutions of New York, which he started back in 2002. And leveraging my client relationships and my knowledge of the technology landscape and customer service ability with Alex's software development background, he was a systems administrator and a great team that he put together. We joined forces back in 2021, started delivering very specialized sourcing, custom development solutions to clients. And we've now fast forwarded 4 years later, and we're still at the forefront of supplying global tech talent to companies. But now we've also expanded to supplying high impact hires, senior level hires across industry.
So it's no longer limited to, I'm so sorry. It's no longer limited to just technology?
Correct.
Or it's still limited to?
No, we will supply technology professionals, and also will supply professionals across a variety of categories, from healthcare, from legal, marketing, creative. Really, wherever our clients have a need, we'll be there.
So you started on software development, and then now you've evolved into just senior talent across multiple departments. What triggered that shift, and how do you position your company now when talking about growing small, medium-sized businesses?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think what triggered that shift is our love of quality talent, and also working with organizations that have a desire for quality talent, and they understand that it's essential to grow, and without it you'll be stuck in the same position you're in. And so we were doing 100% of our work in technology, and we had folks in our network or folks that were referred to us who asked us, can you help us in healthcare? Can you help us in legal? Can you help us in other forms of engineering? And we decided back in 2023, a little over 2 years ago now, that if people are reaching out to us for help, we love helping. We love helping others. And so we decided that this was a journey we were going to go on. We didn't realize it would take us to the point we're in now, spread across so many different professions and organizations. But it was something that we felt we were capable of. We felt we were capable of adopting our skills and best practices and our team's talent to diversify into other industries. And fast forward now, it was a great decision. There's a lot of talk about recruiting firms that are specialized in one niche, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's great. We find ourselves being specialized in high quality talent, regardless of what the industry or profession is.
And that's fair. I mean, it's hard sometimes to find talent, the right type of talent, right? So here's my next question, talking about the right type of talent. How can having the right team in place improve a company's brand, image, and marketing outcomes? Because talent is marketing, right? A good company that's well run, good talent, it's good for marketing too. And I love marketing. That's what we do. Do you see a direct correlation between hiring and brand growth?
Absolutely. 100% yes. So talent is the key to success. in business. You could have the greatest product or the greatest service in the world, but if you don't have the talent to implement it, it's essentially you're not reaching your full potential. So I would compare it to people are in business in all types of professions, all types of categories. And the one everyone knows about sports, whether you're a sports fan or not, you watch it or you follow sports. It's very easy to relate things to sports. And I'll compare it to my favorite team is the New York Mets. And this offseason, the New York Mets went out and they signed Juan Soto, the best player arguably in baseball, definitely has the highest contract, but a superstar, right? The team is currently the best team in baseball, and they are averaging 30% more fans per game than they did previous season. So you have more butts in the seats now because of the talent. And that's compared to in the business side. If you bring in the right talent, you will get more buyers. You will get more fans. You will get more eyes. You will get more attention. And the organizations we work with, we really don't work with just anybody. We work with organizations that understand and appreciate the need for high quality elite talent. I think if you're not looking for that type of talent, that's fine. We're just not the type of partner to work with, because we get really into we're really sophisticated with our approach and how we go about finding the talent. And it needs to be an organization that understands that and is willing to put the time, money, and resources and a consistent approach, not just a short-term approach, but a long-term approach. And if you're able to do that, you're really able to grow your brand. You're able to grow it exponentially.
Great. Okay, well, so I'm big on marketing, right? Because we're a marketing company. So many of our clients struggle with hiring for marketing roles. Hence the reason why they come to us sometimes, right? Because they don't want to hire their own talent. What's your take on how small, medium enterprises should recruit marketers, especially when they don't fully understand digital marketing themselves? It's
That's a great question. It is, but it's an important question. I believe that it's similar to recruiting anybody that you're recruiting, whether it's marketing or not, is what are you trying to achieve by hiring this person? Why do you need this person? Why does your business need this person? And then who is the right fit for your organization? Okay, so bringing it back to your organization of what it is that you're looking for and why. After that, you're able to bring that into the ideal person, knowing what skill sets they'll need to have and what experience. You're not the marketing specialist. So it's your goal to find that marketing specialist. But in order to be able to find it, you need to know what you're looking for and why you're looking for that person.
Right. What about in that leadership position, the CMO level position, right? Because with marketing, you have your marketing managers, they could be with expertise in different things. But then when you get to that higher C level, what do you think happens up there? Like, how do you approach hiring for that position?
You have to have a type A person. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. If you're looking to have a growing organization, if you're looking to scale, you can't scale up with type B or type C people in your leadership, because those type B or type C people will bring in B and C level talent. And in order to have A talent, you need to have that A talent at the top. Once you have that,
what's an A talent? Answer that question.
Yeah.
What's the definition of A talent? A type A?
Sure. It depends who you're going to ask. My definition is someone who is going to get the job done and not just do what is in the 9 to 5 and is just, hey, yeah, like, let's just continue to do this job, right? Like, this is what's been done before. Let's do that. No, this is a person who's going to now knock out goals that haven't been achieved, who's going to hire people that bring in ability that wasn't on the team before. This is a person who's going to be able to work across the organization to bring teams together, because a person may be a superstar, right? But if they can't work with others, that's not type A personality. That is that's someone who may have the image of a type A, but they don't cut a type A because they don't have that teamwork and collaboration skill that's so important, that's so essential to succeed in today's economy, in today's business landscape. So if you have someone who can work across the board and bring teams together to elevate the organization, that's type A.
Okay. So in a conversation you and I were having before, you mentioned the unicorn talent, right? So one, let's define the unicorn talent. And the second part of that question is, what does that look like in 2025 for marketing, tech, sales teams? How are you identifying those people before the market catches up?
Hitting me with a lot of good questions, Carolina.
All right, unicorn talent. What did you?
No, this is great. I understand it. It's a very good question. And unicorn talent goes back to my earlier answer to your question about type A personalities, right? How do I it's people are going to have different definitions. My definition of unicorn talent, it goes back to the organization and what they're looking for first and foremost. Okay.
Got it.
Now, that being said, finding a professional who is type A, who has your requirements that not just anyone else has. So it's skill sets, it's personality, it's reliability, it's experience. They're checking off all of those boxes, right? And there is a limited talent pool of those people out there. Right. Whether you're getting hundreds or thousands of these applications or you're only getting a select few, but they're that type of unicorn that has a great reputation where they are, that they have longevity and durability, that they have a skill set that is unique to you. So it could be you could look at a unicorn that someone else might not look at as a unicorn. So that unicorn could have industry experience working in your industry. Say you're in the pharmaceutical industry and your definition is someone who has, who meets all of your the description, meets everything in your job description, but you need someone who comes from a company your size, who has X number of years and is in an industry like yours. Now you're getting down to your unicorn. So it really goes based on what the company is looking for and their exact set of requirements. And it's okay to also create you have to have a goal in mind of who it is that you're looking for, so that then you have this checkbox that you can go through. Okay, this person meets all of my requirements. That's my unicorn. That's not just any unicorn, because there's no universal scale of what is a unicorn. It really is based on what you're looking for. And that's why I always stress, like, if you think you're being too strict, that's good. Like, you are looking for the type of talent that is going to take your company to that next level. Don't start shortchanging yourself and saying, oh, like, maybe this person's not going to have this and it's okay if they don't have that. Now you're starting to get away from that elite talent. So it's, aim as high as possible and you'll land there.
Okay. So let's go back a little bit to, you mentioned you come from a competitive sports background, right?
Yes.
Tennis, to be precise, right? So how do you value your background in competitive sports? Discipline, consistency, strategy. How do you apply that to business development and client acquisition from your own experience?
The truth is, business development and client acquisition is one of the toughest things, if not the toughest thing to nail in business, in any business, in scaling and growing a business. So I relate it to going out and practicing. It starts with practice. In my sport, it's tennis or whichever sport it is, it doesn't matter. You want to go out, be consistent with your preparation. Doesn't matter what your results were the weekend before. You're out and practicing again and again and believing and improving. Knowing like what it is that you need to get over the top, to land clients, to win matches, to win tournaments. And so the preparation, first and foremost, is key. And that comes from a belief. And then never giving up. So you're going to lose more than you win early on when you're competing, as well as when you're going after new business. And that's okay, because you take those losses and those failures to go back to the drawing board, go back to practice working on those things, so that when you go back to the competition, you'll win and you'll get to where you want to go. So that consistency, that discipline, that preparation, that work ethic it beats talent, right?
That's the mindset.
Yes, that's the mindset. That Mamba mentality when we think about Kobe Bryant. He was the first one in the arena and the last one out. And he was, even when he was at the peak of his athletic ability and his career, he was doing that. And then never giving up. That's something that gets thrown around a lot. Don't give up, never give up. But a perfect example of that was this past weekend at the French Open in the men's final at the biggest stage.
That was a great one. Yeah, it was great.
That was an all-time classic.
It's like a biggest comeback.
Why was it an all-time classic? Because at the biggest stage of it all, Carlos Alcaraz is down 2-0. He comes back, he wins the third set, and in the fourth set, he's down 3 match points.
Yeah.
Not 1, not 2, 3 match points.
3 match points. I watched it. It was an awesome match.
He's that close to losing, right? He's that close to just walking to the net and shaking Yannick Sinner's hand, who's arguably, you can say, the best player in the world, also a Grand Slam champion, and at his peak. No, Alcaraz doesn't give up. He wins those. He saves those 3 match points. He comes back to win the fourth set. Wins that set, and then wins the 5th set. So, but you can't do it without that first thing that I mentioned, that belief. If you don't have that belief, you're not going to be able to work hard, practice, be able to compete, be able to take the losses. You're just going to kind of give in.
And in that conversation, that overcoming those obstacles, in this case, the 3 match points, it gave him that second, opportunity. The second win, and then he just ran with it, right? And then that happens in business too, right? Like you're stuck, and then all of a sudden you score one, after being stuck or things not going your way, and then boom, something big happened, and all of a sudden that's your turning point, and then from there it just kind of takes off. And that happens often actually in business, especially like businesses in the early stages, right? Where you know how it goes. You start a business, it's going, and you hit kind of that hump, right? And that hump, for a lot of people, that hump is just basically the end of the business. It's those that overcome that hump and then are able to kind of adjust and move forward, that eventually get through it and find the thing that sticks and are able to move forward and be successful.
Yep, I agree. And I also will sometimes compare it to boxing. Is you can get knocked down and come back and win the bout, but you can't get knocked out and win the fight. So it's that same mentality. It's like business and it's competition. It's very competitive. It's global, and you're gonna get knocked down, but you don't want to get knocked out. That's the thing that has to kind of stick with you, and it's beautiful. I love that part of the business.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. Speaking of overcoming obstacles, obviously in your field, the big thing that I gotta ask you is what's the most common talent pain, tech or professional services, or the different verticals that you guys deal with, and is there something that you guys do to help people solve that problem?
It's wide ranging, and it goes back to elite level, senior level unicorn talent that companies are looking for, right? To get them over the edge, right? They could be losing or not hitting their goals or their objectives because they don't have that talent, and they know they need to find that talent. The same way we talk about business development having its challenges of constantly, you're making the calls, you're doing the process, you're changing up prospecting strategies, you're changing up messaging, but it's not clicking until it eventually does. Okay. Our role is, you're looking for talent. You know that you're striking out on talent. You've struck out before. You can't find it on your own. And that it's that talent that's going to unlock everything. And our goal is to help you unlock it. So the challenge that we have is the same challenge that our clients have of when we get in a search, we're striking out a lot of the time too. We're not perfect. We're like, you give us the job description and the requirements and we're going to turn it over and get someone to you next day. That's not us. And whoever tells you that that's them, then they should be the only, staffing company in the world, because it's a challenge to find that type of talent. And so that what we were just talking about in the last part of going back to the drawing board, of seeing why it's not working, communicating, collaborating with my team, the recruiting team that we have, and the account managers, but also having those conversations with the client of, this is what we're seeing on the market. Do you have recommendations? What do you think about this? And having that collaboration to then, you're going to strike some candidates you feel as a talent acquisition firm are the right fit, but the client comes back to you and tells you, this is not the right fit. Okay, why? Once they tell you, if they have a reason why, that is the most critical, valuable piece of information, because then you're able to adapt to then go back to the drawing board and find the next person. And sometimes we have maybe one iteration of that. Sometimes we have 100 iterations of that. But the client has been looking for 12, 24 months, and we're now having that 100 iterations in a few weeks, few months. We'll eventually get that person, because you can't give up. You're making progress. You're making progress even though that goal hasn't been hit. You're making progress, and it eventually will be hit.
Let me put a spin on that. How can marketing help you solve some of those pains? Can marketing help you find better talent?
Absolutely. I absolutely could. Marketing can help you find the better talent from a variety of ways. It's through messaging, through different channels that marketing is using, through uncovering new avenues that you may not be seeing in the day-to-day. And we use marketing in two ways. One, marketing for talent that we are looking for, and also marketing for ourselves from a business development perspective to attract new clients to us. And marketing helps us with both. So marketing absolutely can do that and does that.
Very good. So on that note, let's talk content, right? So you know that when we do these podcasts, we then take this content and we basically turn the podcast content into marketing content, right? For our company and for our guests, right? What kind of content or storytelling has worked for you guys at Resourceful Talent Group, attracting the right clients, the right talent, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's being open and telling real, authentic stories about what it is that we do. And I think people love authenticity and organic content, and in real life, seeing the people behind the scenes, seeing their, hearing their thoughts, their opinions. All of that is, people resonate with that. And so that's what works best for us. And friends that I talk to, organizations we work with, partners we work with, that's consistent throughout, is being open and honest with what it is that you do and who's involved behind it, and the people aspect. That's everything.
Good stuff. All right. So nowadays, after the pandemic, of course, we keep having the debate of remote, hybrid, on-site, offshore, bunch of different models, right? For small businesses trying to scale smart, what do you think is the best approach to hiring and growing? And how should they market their workplace to attract quality talent? Or are we still marketing for remote work, or is that changing? Where do you see it going?
One size does not fit all.
Agree.
So it depends on the type of business, the type of vertical that the organization is in, their situation, how much of it is in person. Are they fulfilling orders, product orders? Do they need to conceptualize things in person and collaborate with each other in person? Because the truth is that the technology nowadays is so good to be able to communicate with people and get things done virtually from practically anywhere in the world. So I think the best practice is to find what's best for you and what works best for you at the end of the day. And also, it doesn't hurt to try. So you can try on-site, you could try remote, you could try hybrid, and you could try offshore, nearshore. I will say that the key to success, we do a lot of work, and we started as a global software outsourcing company. So those are our roots. So we know that area exceptionally well. And I would say when working with people, talent, offshore or nearshore, as long as it's around the world, communication is key. You want to be able to have people that overlap with your time zone. So whether it's full, overlap or partially overlap, but you need to be able to communicate with those people, and you need those people to have access to be in an environment that is safe, that you can find them when you need them, you can communicate with them. You need them to be in an environment that has good internet, good electricity, has everything that you would need to be a stable environment. And that's something that doesn't get talked about, that gets tiptoed around, but that's key. Okay. And then the other part of it is treating the people like people. So if you would think about how you would treat someone who's on site in person, a stone's throw away from you, that's how a person offshore, outside of the US, should be treated, as part of your team, as someone who you care for and who you can grow with, who can grow with you. So I always encourage companies that haven't taken that leap but have thought about it to do it. And more often than not, that leap is a leap forward and higher than where they were before. It's cost effective, it's efficient, and because of going back to technology these days, you're able to do it. Whereas however many years ago, you were not able to do it. Now things can be easily shared over a screen. You can get on a video call, phone call, message. There's a million different platforms to use. And that's a lot of times what we help our clients with, is taking that leap. And then there's really, the onboarding to that is so simple. It's so quick. It's a matter of 24 to 48 hours. Whereas before it could have been weeks. And it's like with anything in business, you don't know what you're going to get until you try it. So try it and see where it goes.
Very good. All right. I think we're down to maybe our last question of the day. For small, medium business size founders listening into our show today, what is the advice to these business owners who know they need help scaling but don't know where to start with hiring, marketing, automations, whatever you want to call it, like the whole thing, your experience, right? What would you say to them?
I would say, look at what it is look at your goals, where you're trying to go, and what's prohibiting you from going there. Is it sales? Is it service? Is it sit within sales? There's marketing. And then look at how you're going to attack it, what you need to attack first and foremost, priority. So like, I believe with a small, medium-sized business, it depends. Are you trying to survive? Okay, if you're trying to survive, then your goals are going to be different from a small, medium-sized business who's been in business, who is looking to go to that next level from SMB to enterprise. So I think assessing your situation is most important. First and foremost, assessing where you are and what you need to get to where you are, and being realistic. Like, is this a short-term or is this a long-term type of initiative? And then going from there, and understanding that you can't do everything. Like, there are dozens, hundreds, if not thousands of things that you can do as a business owner, but what is the most important to you is something only a business owner can answer. And then once you've answered that question, okay, what is it that I'm going to do next to achieve that?
Okay. Well, that brings us pretty much to the end of the show. Thank you, Jonathan, for coming out and being part of our podcast today and our show. This was insightful. Lots of information. Do tell us, how do they find you? One thing I'm actually meant to ask you before we go is, obviously you're a talent company. Are you hiring mostly talent in US, North America, or what's your process so people know, expect?
Yeah. So, when we say high impact hiring, we do direct hiring. So that's traditional headhunting. A company might be looking for someone. If a company is looking for someone that will be employed by them full time, then we will be the hiring agency that will make that hire for the company. So that's one side of our business. The other side of our business is this global software outsourcing, where software development positions, engineering positions, anything across the technology landscaping that's needed in the software development lifecycle. We not only can supply US-based personnel, but we supply personnel from outside the United States in over a dozen countries. And these are contractors. You can call them consultants that are run through Resourceful Talent Group. And you can find us on rtghire.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, just my name. And then if anyone wants to reach out, my email is jonathan@rtghire.com, and I'm always happy to have a conversation.
Awesome. Thank you, Jonathan, for clarifying that. Thank you for coming out today. It was a pleasure to have you. Thank you for sharing all that information with us. And we hope to see you again sometime in the future.
Thank you very much for having me, Carolina.
Take care, everyone.